Can you talk about the music choices?
Yeah, I could give a whole lecture on music supervision and the pain. Because music is the most expensive aspect of like so many films, and I feel like this film, in the script, there was, I had written in that all the music in the film would be diegetic, especially in the first half, so it was coming from the dad's computer. So this is a big part of that character's externalization is the music choices. And that came from, from my dad, and also from looking at old home videos that my dad shot. There was always music playing, and to me, I thought it was interesting because it played like a score, essentially, in these very like mundane videos. And so the taste of the soundtrack, it comes from my dad. So that really narrows down the focus. It had to be period, had to be affordable, and then also had to be my dad's taste. So we had 3 music supervisors working for us, all in kind, and Ryan Bobkin, my other producer, very generously helped me raise extra funds so I could have my dream soundtrack. So yeah.
There's a hand there.
Big fan of the films, all of your short films. I was wondering if you could speak to the process of getting funding from Hungary as well, and how it was sort of different or similar to the process in Telephone.
What was it like getting funding from Hungary?
From Hungary. Ryan Bobkin. This is our last Q&A, so we're going to do a little bit.
I'll keep this short because it's so boring. Essentially, we partnered with a Hungarian co-producer named Gabor Osvath, who runs a company called Boda. I had met him through another Hungarian filmmaker that I actually worked with on another Canadian-Hungarian co-production called Infinity Pool a couple years ago. And so Gabor applied to the National Film Institute, accessed a tax rebate, but really the complicated aspect was structuring a co-production treaty, or rather a co-production utilizing the co-production agreement that exists between Hungary and Canada. So the fun fact I'll give you is that the treaty requires there to be 3 Hungarian performers in the film, and we only have 2. So the third is Sophy's cousin, Boldly Romvari, who was our second assistant director and came in from Hungary to work on the film. His arm appears in the film. So that is how we exercise the treaty with the sprinkler at the beginning of the film. And like programmers and like really smart people have noticed his performance or his arm and commented in its thematic connection to the film. So that's how we made it work. But it's a really incredible opportunity for us. You know, Sophy got to go to Budapest for 2 months to do post-production, and she worked with the same colorist of The Brutalist, and the sound design is so incredible. Like, I think the quality of the film is magnified and is, just made extraordinary because of the co-production, and we're the first talent to watch film to officially exercise a co-production treaty. So thank you, and apologies to Telefilm Canada.
And right here.
Very evident how much art of yours went into this film. I felt that. Is there a scene in particular or a moment in particular where your heart still feels something deep when you watch it? It's something that you hold really close to yourself in the sense of loss.
Is there a particular moment or scene that you hold dear to you?
Thank you. It's interesting because the making of this movie was actually like a really delightful experience. Like I had the time of my life, to be honest. Like I loved every step of it. Like I loved pre-production. Victoria, my production designer, is here. Bring her up. But like I really like I loved prep. Like I loved every part of the process. It was a joy. So as much as it's reflecting on these very difficult memories, but also it gives me like the privilege to see it from another perspective and to actually really look at it and to not just ignore it. I think that's a privilege as a filmmaker because now I have that access. So I think interestingly like I loved the process of making the movie, and like as I was editing, there was moments that I knew were like emotionally potent or narratively working, but I wasn't that emotionally devastated watching it. But then when I watched it at the world premiere at Locarno last month, I cried the whole time. I was like really surprised. Like not even just the end. I just was like, I guess that's where the release happened. Like I really just had like a emotional release, and it's something that I could see the film for what it was finally, and not just the parts. But I will say that the letter that Sasha reads at the end to her parents is very special, because it's something that I came up with the concept of that like quite late. Like we were already in production when I decided to do this letter. It wasn't actually part of the original script. I knew something was missing. I just didn't know what. And so then I had asked Amy, who plays Sasha, to write a letter from the character's perspective that she would want to tell her parents from the future. And then I also wrote my own letter, which was essentially to my parents. And then the day that we shot the scene, I looked at her letter and looked at my letter for the first time, and remarkably, they were almost exactly the same. They were like, she had, I don't know how she did it, but she became so deeply integrated, and the film is also deeply personal for her. So I looked at the two letters and realized how similar they were. So 5 minutes before we shot the scene, we went into the bathroom together of the house that we shot in, and we combined the letter. So a line from her, a line from mine, and we just constructed the letter that we thought was the most effective. And then she went out and she performed that once, and that's what's in the film. Yeah. It fucks me up every time.
We have a question back there.
Hi, I was wondering if the email that she reads at the end was real, and if it was, why it was significant enough to you to include it in kind of the climactic end moment of the film.
Jerry, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm doing your thing where I repeat the question. The question was about the email at the end, and if it was based on something real, and why I chose to include it at the very end. Yes, it was based off of a condensed version of a real letter that I received from someone that went to high school with my brother, and I actually received this during the process of writing the script. And it really affected me, because I had never really heard anyone talk about my brother in a positive light, to be honest. And it was really like painful to have that in retrospect. And I think it really humanized him in a way that honestly I had trouble doing in my youth. And so it really, I think for me that the film would not work without it, because the film is ultimately about all these differing perspectives of this person that is very difficult to understand, and to have someone illuminate this really humanizing perspective is, I think, should be the last thing you hear in the film, because people are complicated, they're difficult, but they're also, it was very important for me to know that I'm not at all trying to villainize this character at all, like, because I've seen so many films that villainize teens, youth with mental health concerns, and that was really important to me, that was not the takeaway from this film. So that's why I wanted it to be the last thing in the film.